Good to catch up again with Andrew Partridge from Michell Wool as we look at this week in the AWEX. Andrew, how are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Not like the market, unfortunately, Ricky, yeah.
It's got the grumps, hasn't it? I think it's still grumpy. I had 2 weeks off that I was away and the market lifted and I came back and it's gone down in the doldrums again.
Yeah, it's very good. I like that, grumpy. Yeah, no, it's not a bad one. We can use that word quite a bit today. The EMI was off 39 cents, back to 12.60 odd again, and same time last year it's sort of 80 cents below where it was the same time last year. But the big one for me is, and we watched this US 11. People don't like to talk about the dollar and how it affects prices, but in this instance, it's pretty clear to me. And looking at the EMI in US terms, it's 20% lower than where it was the same time last year. And, last year wasn't a pretty time of the year for us. We had COVID and all sorts of things going on. But, yeah, interesting.
So what is that telling you about? Just is there a sign of reason to be optimistic because of where that's sitting at the moment?
It's sort of coming back to a level now where we, in looking at the little graph where we had that jump in the market 2 or 3 weeks ago, the average US price is sort of getting back to where the market had a little jump. So we're reasonably optimistic that it's the bottom's not far away, but we just can't avoid. We've been speaking this quite a bit. China's COVID zero policy and old mate Xi Jinping over there, he's notching down. He's really buckling down on this thing. And there was a bit of hope there a couple of weeks ago that he might start relaxing the policy, and he hasn't. So they're in the middle of their election, I think, at the moment. And
yeah, I think they've just wrapped that up. So I suspect what happened is he didn't want any nasty outbreaks while they were having their major, sham election. Now that's all done, he probably might ease up a bit.
So the positive is we're all sitting back in hope that there is light at the end of the tunnel. It's not a train coming the other way. It's them just sitting down. The pipeline's very low on wool. So any little tick up in demand, and of course they're in the middle of their winter, any little tick up in demand is going to flow through pretty quickly to the market. So we're just going to have to buckle down for a few weeks and just see where it all lies. But fortunately, yesterday particularly in the market, there was a lot of wool passed in. So we're seeing a bit of grower wool resistance, and that's a good thing. We don't want to oversupply.
I wonder about the stocks growers have got on hand. Looking at a sort of longer-term graph here, it just indicates that there was last year at least, a lot more activity in the market, but then it's sort of in terms of the amount of bales put forward compared to where we are this year. But now growers sort of going, well, I'm going to be a bit selective because of price.
That's it. Yep. Yeah, that's it. That's basically it. So they are watching prices. They may be listening to our show, mate. So they're buckling down and saying, well, we're getting back to where it was a bit of support, and things aren't going too bad. We might just sort of put wool aside for a little while. And they can't park their lambs, can they? They can park a bit of grain around their farms, but they can't park their lambs, can they? They just have to sell those. So wool's a bit the same. They can store it for a limited period of time.
Now, something been a common feature of the reports that you've been generously able to provide from AWEX that I just noticed, your own organisation, Michell Wool, always active in the oddments. Tell me a bit about that.
Yes, mate. Yeah, so we obviously we're their processing plant in Salisbury. We're a big processor of cartings. The boys have been over in Korea a couple of weeks ago, had a massive round of sales, probably nearly their biggest sales trip they'd had. So the carding market, as you can see from the indicators, it hasn't been going down with the combing wools. It's actually sitting there quite well around that 900 cents and going up and down in single digits. So with cardings, it's a little bit different one. It's sort of, you sell forward, like we're making orders or making production for wool out to sort of March, April, May next year. That doesn't happen with combing types. So that's where you get the volatility from. It's very hand-to-mouth, the combing market. So we have all that volatility where cardings aren't as volatile. But yeah, we've been busy. Europe and Korea have been big markets for us, and China is a lesser market for us. Well, we've got the plant there, and we do a lot of commission processing for people within China. We don't have a really big sales market ourselves in China. It's mainly outside, so we're a bit buffered that way.
Very interesting. And look, can we draw any insights from how many bales have been put up on offer for next week?
Talking the mid-30s again, so back in that 35 range, and maybe expecting another higher pass-in rate. So that can only be a positive for a market that's a bit sluggish at the moment.
What does it mean by a designated superfine sale? What's that going to be?
Yeah, they have these. Traditionally, back in the day, they used to encourage growers to put all their best wools, their best fine wools into a particular sale. I'm not a big advocate personally myself. It's a bit of an old style way of doing things. We don't want to oversupply the market when it's a bit tender. So certainly this time of the year, there's a lot of the tan wools and really nice super fines. Those guys are getting well rewarded because they're getting into production, and it's an annual time of the year for those guys to buy the good wool. So, yeah, they sort of hold back a couple of good lines of wool and they put them in these designated sales and hope to get plenty for it.
Well, plenty for us to pick apart next week. Andrew Partridge from Michell Wool, thanks so much for joining us again on Flow.
Cheers.